Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to AstrlaGames Day 116 Pillars of Eternity Episode 5. We just talked to some party members.
Sure.
Killed Lord Raderick. And are now going to loot his treasure room. Hopefully we got the key from Kolsk. Hopefully. Let's hope so.
I'll get it open.
No!
I'll get it
What?
open.
What? Really? Are you serious? Here's a treasury. You can take whatever you want. Oh, wait. You don't have the key. I'm definitely interested in this though, because I do have a two-handed weapon. Fine pike. 1724. Increased reach. +4 accuracy, +15 damage. Crushing lash. +25% crush damage. Sword was used by a paladin as an executioner's blade during a long forgotten crusade. Over the years the paladin slew countless heretics, but as time wore on, his favor slowly turned to fear at the unending evil he saw growing in his homeland. Tired of the myopic and ineffective approach of his superiors, the paladin swore to cleanse the corruption from the hearts of his people and took it upon himself to execute any who consorted with heathens. After finding a heretic hiding within a small village, the paladin put all his inhabitants to the sword for aiding the sinner. That night the paladin woke to his sword being driven through his own chest, having been betrayed by his own men, who were guilt-ridden for their complicity to these atrocities. Large sword seems to be covered in rust, but closer inspection the brown stains on the blade are in fact dried blood. Apart from the size, the sword seems plain, only the ornament hidden under a black leather wrapping on the ricasso, where an image of Wodica has been etched. Scratches on the etching indicate someone tried to clumsily remove it. So... Interesting. Maybe the blade made him mad. Well, guess what? We're gonna wield it. The Mad Blade. We've got it. Woo! Alright, so we can't enter the treasure chamber for some reason. I thought Kolsk would give us the key or anything. But no. So now what? That's done. Yeah, we really have to speak to our to Durance. And what must you say now? I had questions I need to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Why were we supposed to meet? The why of it is if you're a watcher. Oh, is you're a watcher. A watcher runs two roads, why? For me, it's a matter of what. There was a time when I wouldn't have spared a thought for your words, or even bothered with you. But now, seeking out watchers is what I do, to put the truth to them, to see which of the two ways they bend. He smiles. Slightly taunting. Truth? What kind of truth? Either you're a dry field in need of harvest burning, or you're lost in the darkness. Either way, you can see differently from others. He gives half a smile, then his tone becomes accusing. I can tell by the way you notice the staff first off. Not many can see it at first, nor the etching or the flames. But your eyes... He stares at you, almost eagerly, nodding. Your eyes trace the path. That I could see. So which are you? A dry field or lost in the darkness? Duran's face tenses. The day we don't trade that question back and forth is the day our paths no longer need to be joined. And the trial. Duran's hand clenches his staff. The trial is done. You're putting me on trial then? You know this nation is diseased. Don't need to be a watcher to see it in the children, the politics, the men that stalk the roads with knives in hands and murder in their eyes. This land needs life again, new seeds planted in the burnt soil. His voice drops, mocking, and his eyes narrow. Something tells me you can see the path to making that future happen, Watcher. Your kind always does. So then, we need to make sure you see truly now. This nation, its people, don't need any more lies blinding them. Nor do I. You test a truth, you don't blindly accept it. Or in-house scholar, or researcher, or scientist. And how do you plan to test me? Sharing the road, of course. One truth to match another. Matching each other's pace, keeping rhythm. Other priests can keep the teachings and rantings. For my faith, my teaching, sharing the road is a simple, hard truth. His smile widens and his hand tap against his waist. Once, then twice. And when you knock one truth against the leg of another, why? Both legs stand firm. But now if you strike a lie at the knee with the same force, his smile dies and his eyes narrow. Why? You make a cripple with but one leg to stand on. Is that why you carry that staff? Is that why I... Durance is about to laugh another volley of words, blinks, then he rolls his head back and laughs deeply. The laughter coming until it seems the air will run out of its lungs, until it seems forced. Perhaps your words are worth listening to, Watcher. He frowns, any trace of humor gone, but the truth will win out. Keep pace, and we'll see.
The cost of troubling me seems to worry you little.
Yeah, I don't care about the cost of troubling you. I want to ask about the region and its history. Durance grunts. Can you tell me about the Hollowborn?
That's a curse that runs deeper. It's a god hammer of a different sort. And like the god hammer, it was made by men's hands.
All things have a price. Left unchecked. Faithlessness. Virtues. It leaves marks on souls. Until souls don't have the strength to enter bodies that are pure. Animancers, ciphers, all who play games with the fabric of souls are to blame for the barren field they leave behind. Even watchers can do the same. Some simply watch. Others try to weave souls, guide them as surely as Wade went across Avendour. He turns away. That is why I correct the Hollowborn when I find them, and the ones whose hands I've led to this seed being spilled on the ground. Correct the Hollowborn?
There are fewer souls. There are more vessels. It is simply equaling of the process.
So it doesn't bother you to end them?
I feel more remorse in putting down a slathering hound. A wict? Less than a mongrel in its misery. Murder is a kindness, not a crime. Always has been. I would sooner put the blade to those who are to blame instead. If any spirit should be punished, it's theirs.
A wicht. This is, fun fact, guys. Wicht, as it stands here, is the Dutch word for wench. Just a fun fact there. And who's to blame? The fields of Dialwood are filled with weakness, ripe for those that play with souls and minds. His face wrinkles in a frown. Animancers and their kind. Watchers, too. They bear more of the burden than their victims, and more of the punishment. Every year has seen a new crime, the Saints' War, the Hollowborn, and the Salvation. You damn wicht! Yeah, exactly. Now you have a new word to use in your vocabulary, Maximus. There's no proof watchers are to blame for the events. There are few who can shape a soul in such a fashion, Durance stares at you, and any watcher, any true watcher born in the Dialwood, would be able to see the crime even if they did not cause it. Silence itself is damning. Why don't you end me then?
Murder you? I would not grant you any of them. The mercy I grant the Hollowborn. You would not be deserving of it.
Why the hell is this guy traveling with us again? Yay, new word, I'm ready for Amsterdam. I wouldn't use that word in Amsterdam though. It's kind of viewed upon as negative. You'd equate murder with mercy.
Murder is an old word. Mercy is letting a soul fly free to the next body. True punishment? Ruining someone to their soul. Crack their spirit like you would crack their skulls with a staff. Beat them. Hurt them in mind and body. So their souls become shards. But you leave it inside the vessel like a bag of glass to either choke on it or pass it through their bloody stool. Then, leave it in the body to think on it, like planting a new field with the right seed.
He has a thing with watchers and being revengeful and stuff. Sounds like you've committed it to memory.
Many marks may I make upon your flesh, but flame leaves marks that cannot heal. Magran doctrine dictates true punishment is one that remains in memory, in the soul, in the flesh. Even should the victims die, slowly or swift, sometimes by their own hand afterwards, the lesson lingers, burned in their flesh.
That seems harsh.
Have you seen a man branded by flame? He remembers it always, in every waking movement. It is a lesson writ in the only ink and vellum that matters, blood and flesh. One can burn the soul as well. It is an art, and I do not take pleasure in it. But there is more at stake here than forgiveness. Many of Aethys' faith were punished in the purges following the Saints' War. And the ones that harmed children, they suffered worse.
What do you mean?
We did what must be done. Wherever they were rooted out, their souls reclaimed. And if they couldn't be reclaimed, we ensured they would never inhabit another body.
This guy has been through a lot, man. Damn. Hey, Demon Eye, what up? Do you think there's any tie between the Hollowborn and the Goldhammer?
Aethys was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. I doubt it. The Hollowborn have their roots in the acts of men, women. I feel it.
That character looks like a Rasputin. Well, it certainly is a interesting character. Keep troubling me and I may extend the tithe bowl for each question. Enough questions for now. Let the road keep us until the next campfire.
What?
Okay,
Yes.
dude. Jeez. Hey, G-Pudding, what's up, man? How you doing? This guy. Welcome to Astral Storytime with Pillars of Eternity, where we talk to NPCs. Because that's the way to advance in this game. Alright. Allard looks at you with quiet attentiveness. How may I be of service? How long were you in the Gilded Veil? He shrugs, fidgeting with the hem of his sleeve. Not much longer than you. As you saw, it was hardly the haven that had been advertised. Tell me about Adia. I've been gone for more than a year now, but as I suspect I'll always think of the forests and fields of Adia as home. We've thousands of years of history and tradition behind us, and there's a sense of dignity and responsibility that comes with that. He frowns. Of course, there's baggage as well. Our imperial past is still fresh in the minds of many, as you may have noticed here. Has it been difficult to adjust to Direwood? People here are informal, hot-blooded. His mouth twists into a wry smirk. More attentive to insult than to duty. But as long as one avoids provocation, it's easy enough to get along. He steeples his fingers. I've gotten accustomed enough to keeping my thoughts to myself, anyway. Any thoughts on what I should do next? Now is not the time to keep your thoughts to yourself. He tugs at his sleeves. Merwald urged you to seek this Latin key agents in Defiance Bay, yes? If his condition is any warning, we should find them all with haste.
Hey.
Alright, he didn't have much to say. What about you? Adia scratches his head and smirks. Well, I guess talking to a crazy watcher is better than talking to no watcher at all. I was wondering about
It
Aethos.
makes two of us.
What is there to know about it?
If you're looking to find religion, maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust, but I won't stop you. Aethys, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
He was a lot of different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, light. Out in the country, he's gone, the farmer, who helps all things pass, seasons and people both. He watches over the weak, thus gone. Seems imbalances make right. You could see why all the coupleless rowdies around here might take a liking to someone like that. He was real popular here for a time. These days you won't find too many worshipping Aethys in the open. It's hard to know who still does it in private and who's given up. Feels like I'm the last one sometimes. He smirks. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning. Do you still worship Aethys?
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
Far as I know, he hasn't said anything about anybody since the Godhammer detonated. Why worship him then? He grimaces. Well, if it turns out he's not dead, and I gave up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption's gotta have standards. I'd probably be reborn as a feta Mao's horse. I love this guy. That's not really it though. Not all of it anyway. He casts a sidelong glance. Guess it's more still, I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way. Why did you choose to worship Aethys in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshipping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
He looks you in the eye. Conspiratorial. Good Scrabble word. Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad only Aethys could forgive. I'd explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Oh, it'd explain a lot. That's how you were raised?
Mm-mm. There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years and look what happens.
What made you think Waidwin didn't speak for Aethys?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Raed Ceres. It was when he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Aethys does. At least the gone part of him. Those farmers were starving and their government didn't lift a finger. I figured if it wasn't Aethys himself, at least he had the right idea. But then he sent armies across the border, even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that escaped the rebellion, wanted to punish them, and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit for me. Those are the deeds of a vengeful god, Skane or Wodica maybe. Or just a man who'd lost... Sorry. Or just a man who'd lost his sense. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true. Tell me about the purchase.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
It's eye-opening seeing just how naked you are when you've got no god to protect you. The Saints' Wall was a hard time to be a Dawoodian. People thought it was the end times. They talked big about how we are gonna defeat a god, but I don't think there was a man from here to the White March didn't think he was gonna die. It does something to you, thinking you're gonna die at someone else's hands. There's a rage that comes. Indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Cold Morn that started, town near the border. They let Waidwind march right on through. Rest of the Direwood cursed their names till the end of the war. Some say it was the Eothasians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others say it was just cowardice. It was like the legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked whichever one best suited and they wanted to believe. Either way, that town was burning before the first ashes of Eothas hit the ground. And it felt good to the people here to be in control after being so helpless. So the fire spread. A lot of the Eothasians went the way of our god. There were claims from the Church of Magran that she'd actually commanded the purges. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around it like she was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Waidwind.
What's on your mind?
What did you do before this?
Oh, other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Eothas. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. I made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the god of redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Eothas.
Oh, sorry, I blew you to smithereens. Oh, no worry, my son. Did the people of the Guild of Vil really try to kill you?
They did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life, but only for one night. And they were all sorry to hear about my brother.
Blowing up gods, yep. It happens in this universe.
Took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Eothasians being murdered in the streets. Cold Morn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said. But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did.
I'm playing a Chanter, Baroness, and welcome to the stream. And yes, I'm playing a Chanter.
Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was going to fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Really?
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years.
He's been talking to NPCs the whole time I've been here. Yeah, I've had one fight. I killed this guy, I completed this quest, and then there was the entire time talking to NPCs. Comes back and we're still at the bottom of the save stairs. Yeah. Man, this game is full of text, man. It's like Baldur's Gate all over again. It's reading, talking to NPCs. Just what seems awesome. This is my very first playthrough, so I have no idea of builds or anything at all. So just what seems good. What seems awesome. I have no idea of particular builds. It's 45 minutes break, not 15. Wait another 30. But is it as much as Planescape? I can't honestly remember. Planescape is a long time ago. Why did you stay for so long in the town that hated you?
Well, I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Aothasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't. The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little Hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, salvation it was called. They went running.
Running.
This salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it, giving them enough personality to care for themselves. Well, you can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down, became wild things, monsters.
Wild things. Do, 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 do.
Anyway, these farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. And one day she snaps. They found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen.
As long as we're not praising the sun, I'm all on it. Praise the sun. Yeah, it's insane, right, Demon Eye?
Well, the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he'd visit every day, feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about him. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief.
What did you eat for lunch today, Astral? Just a good old sandwich with chocolate sprinkles, Dutch style.
He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
Do you have any family? Just my parents now. They took a ship back to Ada when the purges started. Wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Why did they let people do that to their kids? Because probably they think it was a cure. Sandwich with chocolate sprinkles. Ah, yeah. Vlokka actually, but it's the same. It's about the same. Vlokka, Hagelslag, that's all the same stuff. Tell me about your brother. Oh wait, been a long time since I've seen them, really. I should really visit, but for some reason I haven't much felt like leaving home. Good thing they chased me out, or I might have never left.
Woden was about everything you'd want your firstborn son to be. Dutiful, honest, put thought into everything he did. Real pain in my ass. Made me look bad about every way he could. It wasn't something he tried to do, but of course that just makes it worse.
Vlokka better than Hagelslag, yeah. That depends. That's Hill Punch. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Hill Punch. I didn't know you'd speak Dutch, Maxus. Oh, Hill Punch.
Not that he didn't get into trouble himself. He was just better about feeling guilty after. We used to have this farmer near us, Hereward. Couldn't stop talking about how well he cared for his chickens. How their feathers were the whitest in town. Convinced the butcher to pay him double what the other farmers got.
Why would you pay double for whiter feathers if you're gonna strip them of feathers anyway? Hill Punch in Swedish. You can say hi on stream if you want.
Hi. I'm only dropping by, but hi.
Hi. Say hi.
Hi. Came to pick something up.
We're
Obviously, with my memory, I forgot something again.
we've had one fight, and since then it's been like, what, 2 hours of dialogue?
Epic, dramatic, over-the-top dialogue.
Yes. Yes.
Hi
exactly.
there, Demon Eye. Heel punch.
That's a big thing. Yeah, we're trying to find the
A big face.
we're trying to find the translation for Hagelslag. Hail punch. That's literally what it says. But it's more like a hailstorm or something. Is I think the more Less literal translation, but better translation. Hill punch. Yeah. There's no alcohol in it.
Oh, but do you want to translate it as properly to English or literally for fun?
Well, we do have the literal translation, but we...
It's chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah, but we also have flokke, which is also chocolate
Yeah,
sprinkles.
they're just differently shaped.
And that's the thing we were discussing, what the difference was between Vlokke and Hagelslag, but then in English.
Aye.
Hail battle, yes.
Vlokke is chocolate flakes, I think.
I think so, yeah. Chocolate flakes and chocolate sprinkles. That could be good. I'll just speak Swedish in Amsterdam with a few wichts. Oh yeah, I told Maxis what wicht means.
Probably would understand you a little bit if you speak Swedish, though. A little bit.
He now has the word wicht in his vocabulary.
Maximus is gonna make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Well,
Me and Woden
I
got
gotta
tired of
run
hearing.
again.
I was maybe 11, 12 at the
Good
time.
luck with the stream. Have fun with
We,
the stream, guys.
We borrowed about 6 different dyes from the dyer one night. Dyed Hereward's chickens every color but white.
They dyed the chickens. Excellent.
Next morning, the butcher comes knocking, asking for 6 of his whitest chickens. We were feeling great, up until Hereward saw what we'd done. He just got on his knees and cried right there. All those colorful chickens around him, not knowing what to make of it.
Amazing.
I thought it served him right, but I could tell Woden had other thoughts. Sure enough, the next day, every one of those chickens had been scrubbed down. They weren't white, mind you, but Woden sure tried. Never said a word to me about it, but I knew. That was Woden. My parents, they always let us be who we were. Never told me to be more like him or anything like that. Which was good, because I was never gonna. What's on your mind?
Oh my god, guys. We went through the entire dialogue. Holy crap. We actually went through the entire party's dialogue. Jeez, we did it. We did it, Reddit. Grab the camera. Holy shit. Alright. Now what? I'm still lost. We've got Lords of a Barren Land done. Oh my god! Progress! Yeah, I already saved. Yeah, I saved immediately after. I was like, I don't want to repeat that. His brother is a Norse god? Woden, oh, yeah. Now another 45-minute break. Nope! Not until 10 minutes. 15. 4 to 5 minutes, not 45. So we spent time traveling with Durrance. We talked about him, but he didn't say anything. So he was like, don't talk to me anymore. Done with questions. So we can't progress Trials of Durrance. Fragments of a Scattered Great Fate. We have to know where that records archive is. Time and Tide. Endless Paths. I know that's endgame stuff. A bit spoiled. Endless Paths is endgame stuff. Travel to the cliffs you saw in your vision, wherever those cliffs are, and go to the Temple of Wodika. Defiance Bay. So the only thing we can do, the only thing we can travel to with a goal, because we know where it is Defiance Bay. So let's do that then. Because those other quests don't really make sense to me. They're weird. So to Defiance Bay it is. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Defiance Bay. Defiance Bay. Would think it does. I don't know how the game ends, but possibly, yeah. But if this game is anything like Baldur's Gate, then the sequels are worse than the original. Yes, I'm the only guy in the world who thinks Baldur's Gate 1 is better than Baldur's Gate 2. There already was a sequel announced? Okay, if you say so. I didn't keep track. Wait, how the hell do we get out of here? You move to the gate. That's how you get out.
Some fermented caribou milk would hit this spot right now.
That's the sewer we went through. La la la. La 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 la. There's nothing there. Ooh, there is. Yeah. Gather some herbs. River Reed. Aw, yeah. Exploring the map. Aw, yeah. Exploring. Exploring. Chants don't stack. I have no idea. Do they? I don't think so, no. If you mean the same chant by two different chanters, if that affects stacks, I don't think so.
I'm
Does
here.
that say somewhere in the game? Is there like a book on this is how it works? I don't think so. Chance. I don't think so. Oh my god, there's exploration? I thought there was only conversations. Yeah, I know, right? Alright, how do we get to Defiance Bay? That is where we need to go now. It's there. So I'm assuming it's here. Evilden Bridge or something. How do we get there? I would assume through the wooden plains. Wood and plains. Let's try that. We're actually traveling instead of talking. Yeah, sure, Baroness. Once we get to the wood and plains, I'll show the character sheet. Talos Vrukan, which is a name that spawned in this stream for many of my characters, where the character can be named. 5th level Chanter, Coastal Amawa, Old Valia Merchant, with almost enough experience to level up, it looks like. Or is that a 0 too little? 3 for 5, 3 for 5, no, actually. Yeah. 12 Might, 14 Constitution, 12 Dexterity, 13 Perception, 16 Intelligence, 13 Resolve, I believe. Yeah. Minor Ring of Deflection, Rotwort Amulet, Disease, against diseases. Damage reduction with Saint's Wall Armor, the Pilgrim's Lasting Vigil with 1 Perception and Resolve, Towering Physique, 1 Stealth, 3 Athletics, 6 Lore, 6 Mechanics, 1 Survival, and a Crucible of the Soul. This is all the abilities I can do. With, yeah, my chant being, the chant that I'm casting, Dull the Edge, Blunt the Point, reduces slashing and piercing damage of all enemies in the area. Calm, Soft Winds of Death, drains endurance from all enemies in the area. Emboldens the allies in the area, gives bonuses to Fortitude and Will. And the Fox from the Fauna did Run and Leap, reduces accuracy of disengagement attacks from enemies. So if people disengage, we can actually properly disengage without, you know, getting too much on us. So yeah, that is the character sheet. And people are tired, so I think we need to rest. So let's camp up. Because people do seem to be tired. Alright. Let us continue our journey. buffs are better than debuffs because debuffs can miss. Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good point. But I am buffing as well, so... And in terms of what I'm wielding a Justice, which is a unique two-handed greatsword. And yeah, I've Saint's War Armor. And amulets and good helmet, I guess. Of Resolve +1, of Perception +1, which are... Especially Perception is something I really need to get more of. Because of all the dialogue I'm missing for not having enough perception to select the dialogue option. Yes, we can go to the bridge. Alright, to the bridge we go. You're wielding Justice, Mr. Right. Oh, Mr. Right. You're wielding Justice. Phoenix Wright, what a great game to watch. I've never played it before. What a great game to watch. There's a streamer group which streams on the Twitch channel Cryotic. Cryotic. I believe he has an A in there somewhere as well. Cryotic or something. That which is a group of people who like stream on every Sunday. They stream Phoenix, right? And then they do all the voices in anime style. Yo, dude. Which is amazing. If you need an inn for the night, Goose and Fox has the softest best and the beds and the best ale. Okay. Like, Cryotic's group is so amazing to watch. It's insane. It's so cool how they do those voices. More dialogue, guys. Astranda Miriamelis. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul. You see a lavishly decorated room, walls hung with tapestries, ornate oil lamps creating a warm, relaxing atmosphere. There are several overstuffed couches covered with silk pillows and an elegant table in the middle of the floor. This woman is seated at the table, sitting across from another woman. They are both well dressed, their style befitting the room they're in. The other woman's hair is blonde, in stark contrast to this woman's black, and is swept up on her head like in a dramatic style, just like this writing. The woman speaks in an easy, free tone, obviously familiar with one another. Though they each seem to be comfortable in each other's company, a strange nervousness surrounds the blonde woman's actions. She occasionally betrays herself with a little giggle of stammer, hitching over the uneasy word as she speaks. Her demeanor swings from friendly to shy and back again with no warning. City dialogue RPG, yep. Dialogue Central. This woman leans back a little in her chair, stretching lightly. There are only two women. As she finishes her stretch, she gently lays her hand next to the other woman's hand, letting their fingers subtly intertwine. The second woman stops speaking mid-sentence, inhales sharply, and turns red. She does not, however, move her hand, because that's exactly what you would expect. This woman smiles and moves her hand further over the other, holding it. She stands, moving around the table toward the blonde woman, whose face shows conflicting emotions of terror and lust. She giggles and pulls her hand out from under the other and brings it to her mouth, the red of her face deepening. This woman stops, looking down at her eyes sparkling. She reaches out and pulls something from the blonde's hair, letting it fall around her shoulders. Then she leans over, brushing her lips lightly over the blonde woman's cheek, resting her mouth against her ear. As she whispers, her hand moves lightly down the other woman's body to her waist. The blonde shudders and leans into the hand, eyes closing, cheek pressing against the lips, still whispering at her ear. This woman's hand deftly removes a small bag from the other woman's belt and secretes it under her own cloak at the small of her back. Then she gently kisses the other woman's cheek and stands again, the smile never leaving her mouth. I am glad this text comes to an end, or we might have violated Twitch TOS. Two women? That can't be coincidence. Where is the cup? And guess what, guys? More dialogue! Kratok Bridgman. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out. You see a ship being tossed about in a storm-ravaged sea. The swells rise and fall, carrying the ship with them as if it were a toy. This man stands on deck at the helm of the ship, while water whips around him. The crew moves about frantically, trying to keep the chaos under control. He barks orders at them, pointing where to go, and giving each one a task. The men, while still visibly distressed, seem to calm down when they are given their orders. Why did she have to be a thief? No. He instructs the helmsman to resume his duties at the wheel and rushes to the aid of a crewman who's struggling with a rope attached to one of the sails. The ship crests a wave, going almost vertical in one direction and then immediately again in the other direction. Several of the crew are thrown from their feet, sliding across the deck as the ship is rocks. Suddenly the ship is turned into rocks, oh my god. Yeah, I'm going for a smoke, there are too many people on this bridge. I know, right? After the swell passes and the ship returns to a relatively normal orientation, the man quickly scans the deck, counting silently. No one has been lost this time, thankfully. He looks in the direction they're headed, seeing no reprieve from the storm in sight. His jaw squared and his upper lip stiffened, he returns to the helm and takes the wheel again. Normally I don't do this much reading, but I mean I don't play games that have this much dialogue, but oh my god, another one. Look at that. As you near, you feel a vibrant. You see a flurry of matted white hair and an incandescent freeze fire staff before you see the man, cold and wild. He chews a wizened apple slowly. How can an apple be wise? Hello, I am the apple. I am here with wise advice. Weird. Discharging spell after spell into the jumble of villagers screeching their way towards him. Cold flame vents from his nose and apple seeds shoot out the side of his mouth as he saunters forward, ignoring arrows and curses alike. A deliberate twist of his staff and a bullet of force glides through the torso of one assailant and another. A roar blisters his throat as he launches himself into their midst, tearing into their essence with his staff. A pleading hand reaches towards him and quickly falls, ignored. Silence takes hold as the tattered man gathers his prize, a basket of fresh pears. He hums as he eats. Damn. Fruit maniac. Right there. Killing people for fruit. Slaughtering entire villages only to be healthy. Eat healthy, kids, but don't slaughter entire villages trying to do so. Welcome to the Defiance Bay, but watch yourself in our city.
How do you do?
What can I do for you? What can you tell me about Defiance Bay? Sorry, but I don't have the time right now. But it sounds like that Dozen's crackpot Rowan is stirring up trouble again. He jerks his head to the gate. He'd be all too happy to give you a rundown of the city. Liberally flavored with Dozen's propaganda, of course. I'm looking for the Temple of Vodica. He scratches his beard. Not sure why you'd want to go there. It's in the first fires if you really want to see it. You seem to be on edge. What's the problem? Thousands of them, true to be told. We've got refugees coming in from all parts, under some misguided notion that things are actually better here. That the legacy somehow passed us over. So they show up with no prospects and little money, and just end up making worse mess of things. He looks you up and down. No offense. And good luck to you. Well, good luck it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going for the final break. of today. 4 to 5 minutes, not 40 5 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes. And once we come back from the break, we will be entering the final part of the game, or of this stream, which is going to be the entrance to Defiance Bay. Next time we finish talking to the people in town, hopefully, and get some combat. End of this stream. Haha, yeah, the cliffhanger is going to be the combat. But we did have combat in this stream. The first part was all combat, as well as a bit of the second part. So, there you go. 4 to 5 minutes of break. And once I come back, probably more conversations.